Welcome back to chilly Winnipeg Stadium, where we have witnessed history in the making today as Baltimore defeated the Winnipeg Blue Bombers by a score of 14-12. For the first time in the history of the CFL, an expansion team has won the East, and for the first time in the long and illustrious history of this league, an American-based team is going to the Grey Cup. I'm joined by quarterback Tracy Ham and linebacker Matt Goodwin in the victorious Baltimore locker room. Tracy, your thoughts, especially since this was a personal revival for you, considering what you went through last year in Toronto.
First, I just want to give honor to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, who's first in my life. This was just a team effort. Our defense came up large. They shut a good offense down, and we got what we needed to win the ball game. And, you know, it's not just Tracy. It's a team effort. Everybody did what they had to do to win the ball game.
Was this a case of the team that could work against the wind the best was the team that would win?
Well, you certainly want to control the ball, put the ball on the ground when you had the wind going in your face. And we tried to just not turn the ball over and give the ball to Pringle because we have a good running game. So the strategy that we approach is the only thing you can do here in Winnipeg.
All right, Tracy, congratulations. Matt, not too many teams can shut down the other Matt Dunnigan on offense. You didn't allow them one touchdown. Tell us your secret on defense today.
Well, the secret of our defense against Winnipeg has been pressure. The guys up front played great. We've been sending some linebackers and come in with the pressure and stuff, and that seemed to get him to throw before he wanted to throw, and that's how we've had the most success with that.
A lot's been made that this is an all-American team, and the club you beat has 20 Canadians. Was that a factor today?
Well, if they had 20 Canadians, they played great. You know, they're a great team regardless of who's on it, what nationality or whatever. So, you know, we also have a Nigerian, so I guess you can't hold that against us. So.
All right, Matt, congratulations. We'll see you next week in Vancouver at the Grey Cup.
All right, thanks.
The Baltimore CFLers 14-12 winners today. For their thoughts on this big football game, let's go up to the booth and join Don and James.
James, I said at the start that the coin toss may have been vital in determining the outcome of this football game. Baltimore had it in the second and the fourth quarter. But I think when you look at this ball game, it was Winnipeg's inability to score any points, to score a touchdown at least, when they had the wind at their back.
Don, this is a team that has gone 7 quarters now without scoring an offensive touchdown, and that's a big problem. Matt Dunnigan had a fine opportunity at the 4-yard line late in the second quarter, and he was unable to bring up the snap cleanly. They had to settle for, once again, a field goal attempt.
And then, even though the defense played very well in the fourth quarter, late in the fourth quarter, Donald Igwe-Bike, a season-high 54-yarder for the winning field goal.
Special teams always so important in the CFL, and for today, Baltimore, it proved to be the winning factor for them this afternoon. And when a game comes down, the rushing game, they held Winnipeg to only 42 yards rushing in the game, where Baltimore was able to go over 100 once again.
And Baltimore goes to the Grey Cup game with a 14-12 win over Winnipeg. Mark?
And Don, that's the look of a champion. Baltimore beats the Bombers and Big Chris Walby by 2. And the Dixon Cup, one of the oldest trophies in pro sport, awarded every year since 1912 to the East Division champions, is going outside Canada for the first time in its history. This is Mark Lee saying so long from Winnipeg. Now back to Scott Oak in Calgary.
Mark, thank you very much. And Ron Lancaster, there's no doubt that with an unrestricted All-American roster, the Baltimore CFLers have an advantage over teams that have to use Canadian quotas. But the reality is, I'm not sure that was a huge factor today. The Bombers may have beaten themselves.
You're exactly right. It had nothing to do with who they are and what they are. It's what they did. And the Winnipeg Blue Bombers beat themselves today, and I'm sure Cal Murphy would agree. You can't have a mess up and not have people on the field and have field goals, problems with it. And then when you have a fumble given up by the offense, they did a heck of a job defensively against a good football team, and they did a good job moving the football, but you can't make mistakes and beat yourself, and that's what happened.
David, you noted throughout the game, the East Division final, that Tracy Ham was not on top of his game, but he cranked it up late.
Yeah, I think this was a classic game of the survival of the fittest, and Tracy became the fit guy in the second half. He really started to make some plays, got the ball to his people.
Ron, Baltimore is a good football team. Whoever they play in the Grey Cup next week, Calgary or BC, it's going to be a good game.
Well, there's no doubt about it, and I think people today are finding out that BC is an awful good football team. I think a lot of people last week kept saying when we lost to them last week was an upset. Not an upset. BC is a good football team, and they're showing it today right here at McMahon.
So one Grey Cup finalist has been decided. Baltimore CFLers are waiting for either the Calgary Stampeders or the BC Lions. They're not going to have to wait long because we're at the half of this West Division final with the Stamps up by 3. Santa Claus has got the cup now, but next week it'll belong to either Baltimore, Calgary, or BC.